Hello everyone, today I am going to discuss bearing capacity and foundation. I have shown some figure of foundation. So what are the foundation? What is the foundation? So a foundation is the part of a structure which transmit the whole weight of a structure to the ground, or we can say whole weight of the structure to the soil which support it. Okay, or also we can define a foundation is therefore a connecting link between the structure and the ground which support it. A foundation is also required for the distributing the loads of the superstructure on a larger area. Like suppose whatever the weight or load coming on the column, that is on a very large area. So whatever the pressure developed at the cross section of the column is very large. Okay, so we need something that it will distribute the load. So suppose that's why whatever the pressure will develop at the base of the footing or at the base of the foundation, that will be less. How it will be less? Suppose you are calculating the pressure which is developed at the base of the foundation. So that is equal to weight which is coming on that plane or surface or whatever of the section divided by area. So if you are increasing the area, so automatically pressure which is developed at the base of the footing or at the base of the foundation will be decreased. So foundation is also required to distribute the load on a larger area so that pressure will be less. All structure constructed, whatever your structure seeing at the bridge structure, truss structure, like building or any kind of a structure like water tank, whatever constructed on a land are supported on a foundation. So every structure has a foundation. Every structure has that link which is attaching both the column and this structure, superstructure. Okay. So there are different types of foundation that I mentioned in the figure also. So we call shallow foundation if df divided by b it is less than equal to 1, where df is the depth of foundation and b is the width of foundation. Okay. Similarly, in the case of deep foundation, we call it deep foundation when df by b ratio is greater than or equal to 15. So deep foundation is like pile foundation or there are different types of pile foundation also. Shallow foundation like a wrap foundation, mat foundation, okay, grillage foundation like different trapezoidal foundation, rectangular foundation, strap footing. There are different type of foundation. So that I will discuss in detail in coming lecture. So there are general requirement of foundation. So every foundation should have to satisfy all these criteria. All these three criteria which I am going to mention. So first one, location and depth criteria. So for selecting the location and depth of a foundation, there are different types of factors which it depends on. Like lateral expulsion of a soil from beneath the foundation, seasonal volume changes caused by freezing and thawing, and the pressure adjoining the structure. So these are the factors. By considering all these factors, we have to locate and we have to select the depth of a foundation. Second one, shear failure criteria or bearing capacity criteria. So all these criteria, all these three criteria which I mentioned, that is important, but the shear failure criteria and bearing capacity failure criteria is very, very important. To be safe foundation design, the shear, whatever we design like whatever the pressure that is developed at the base of the foundation, it should be less than shear strength of a soil. Shear strength of a soil. Or whatever the foundation should be safe against shear strength failure or soil rupture. Right? Third one is the settlement criteria. So the settlement of foundation, or we can say differential settlement, must be within the permissible limit. Whatever the code is saying, whatever the value is mentioned in the code. So all foundation should be designed in such a way that their settlement should be within the permissible limit. So whenever we are going to select whenever for the design, or if the engineer designing this foundation, and so they have to be consider two things. They will fix the bearing capacity of soil by considering two things. First one is settlement, and second one is the shear strength of a soil, or we can say bearing capacity of a soil. Okay, so net allowable bearing pressure we select by considering the two things, settlement and shear strength of a soil, or bearing capacity of a soil, right? So every foundation should have to satisfy all these three criteria. Basic definition. So there are basic definition, and that you have to remember, because in the coming lecture I will use all this basic definition frequently. So you have to be this is the type of nomenclature, like what we call for ultimate bearing capacity, and what is meaning of this. Okay, so that you have to be very careful about that. So ultimate bearing capacity, see, generally bearing capacity of soil we denote by Q. So here ultimate bearing capacity we are denoting by QU, right? So the ultimate bearing capacity is the gross pressure at the base of the foundation at which soil fails in shear. See, I'm using a word gross, means whatever the weight on coming on this base of the foundation. So that's why the pressure is developed due to the all weight, whatever there is soil, there is a like surcharge, there is anything. Okay, base of the foundation at which soil fails in shear. So we call as a ultimate bearing capacity. Second one is the net bearing capacity. See, bearing capacity we denote by Q, ultimate, so U, or here net. So we are denoting by Q and U. So net ultimate bearing capacity, it is the net increase in pressure at the base of the foundation that causes shear failure of a soil. Or we can calculate by using this formula, where the Q and U is the net ultimate bearing capacity, where QU is the ultimate bearing capacity, gamma DF, gamma with the unit weight of soil, which is above the foundation layer, above the concrete layer, okay, or above the bottom layer of this foundation, where DF is the depth of foundation. Gamma DF, here the gamma into multiplication with DF, so gamma DF is called overburden pressure. It's called overburden pressure. Net safe bearing capacity we denote by QNS, net safe. It is the net soil pressure which can be safely applied to the soil considering only shear failure. So net we can calculate by using the some factor of safety, where F is the factor of safety, QNS is net safe bearing capacity, QNU is the net ultimate bearing capacity. Gross safe bearing capacity, QS, it is the maximum gross pressure which the soil can be carried safely without shear failure. See, in the third case we have calculated the net. In the second case we have calculated the net. So in that for calculation of net we have deducted the overburden pressure from the gross, but in this case we have to calculate that the gross. So what we will do, we will add the overburden pressure in the case of net. Okay, so we can write QH is equal to QNS plus gamma DF, right? Or we can write like this by putting the value of QNS in the above equation. So we can write QS is equal to QNU divided by F plus gamma DF, right? You see, in this case overburden pressure is overburden pressure is in addition. But in the case of net ultimate bearing capacity, when you are calculating the net from the gross, then you have to be deduct the overburden pressure. Next one is the net safe settlement pressure, QNP. This is important. Net safe settlement pressure. It is the net pressure which the soil can carry without exceeding the allowable settlement. The maximum allowable settlement generally varies between the 25 to 40 mm for individual footing. So in the previous slide, I mentioned that when we design the depth of foundation, when we design the foundation, when we design the bearing capacity of a soil or shear strength of a soil, so we consider two things. First one is shear strength, second one is the settlement. So this QNP is talking about the settlement only. So it is the net pressure which the soil can carry without excessive allowable settlement, means within the permissible limit, right? Next one is the net allowable bearing pressure, QNA. Net allowable. It is the net bearing pressure which can be used for the design of foundation. So we design a foundation on the basis of QNA, right? It is the net bearing pressure which can be used for the design of foundation. So QNA. So how we will choose the value of QNA? So QNA will be equal to QNS in case where the QNP is greater than QNS. In case where the net safe settlement pressure is greater than QNS, net safe bearing capacity. What is the meaning of this? See, QNP is greater than QNS. It means the structure is safe against the settlement. Structure is safe against settlement, but it can be critical, but safe in case of settlement, but that in the case of shear, that value is less. What is the meaning of this? It means, suppose some bearing capacity we have fixed in between QNP and QNS. So it means it will be safe in case of settlement, but it will not safe in case of shear strength of a soil. It can be failed by shear. So we will take as a critical one. So whatever the value between this minimum value of this between the settlement and shear strength, we will take as a QNA. We will take as a net allowable bearing pressure. Okay, so in this case, you can see that soil is getting failed in the case of shear first. So our designing pressure will be QNA, will be QNS. But in the second case, where soil is first getting failed by settlement, second it is getting failed by shear stress. Okay, so it means like once that structure is safe in case of settlement, so it would be safe against shear. So in the second case, we have taken net allowable bearing pressure is equal to QNP, is equal to net safe settlement pressure. So directly we can say whatever the minimum value in case from the shear or in case from settlements, we will take as a net allowable bearing pressure, right? Minimum of QNP or QNS, directly we can say that will be equal to QNA. Or you can write also QNA is equal to minimum of bracket QNA, QNS, नीचे लिखो QNP. So that will be minimum value of this. Okay. Gross and net footing pressure. So the first case is foundation backfill, means foundation is filled by a soil and their unit weight is gamma. In the figure, there is a DF, depth of foundation is mentioned. Q load, that is coming from the whole structure, superstructure. Q load is acting on a column, where the capital B is the width of footing, or width of foundation, where DC is the depth of concrete layer, and the top line, top horizontal line is like ground surface that is mentioned in the figure by G dot S dot. So you can see in this case foundation is backfill. So we can calculate gross pressure, gross footing pressure. So whatever we are working on the base of foundation. So whatever the weight coming on that surface divided by area. So suppose area we have selected capital A. So what are the weight? So Q plus WF, weight of foundation plus superstructure load, weight of superstructure. So we can write Qg is equal to Qg here is gross footing pressure. So we can write Qg is equal to Q, capital Q plus WF divided by A. Or in the place at the place of WF, you can write in terms of weight of concrete layer or in terms of weight of soil, which is above the concrete layer. So you can write Q plus dc into gamma c. What is dc into gamma c? That is pressure for the case of concrete layer. So we can write dc into gamma c into area, capital A we have selected, okay, and we can write df minus dc. Df minus dc, this is the depth of soil, this is the depth of soil which is above the concrete layer. So we can write gamma into A, where gamma is the unit weight of soil. See, in this case, if you will work on this, so we have neglected this area of column, okay, right? We have neglected the area of column. So by simplifying, we can write, means we can simplify, and then capital A will cancel, because capital A is also in denominator and also in numerator. So by simplifying, we can get this equation. So now we can calculate net footing pressure. So whenever we are going from gross to net, we have to deduct the overburden pressure. We have to deduct the gamma dF. So put the value of gamma Qg in this last equation, so we can get the net footing pressure, right? By simplifying, we can write this equation: Qn is equal to Q by A plus gamma C minus gamma into dc. See, in this in the last equation where I mentioned Qn is equal to Q by A plus gamma C minus gamma into dc, where gamma C is the unit weight of concrete, or generally it would be 24 kilonewton per meter cube. And in this case, gamma is unit weight of soil. So generally, it is 20 kilonewton per meter cube. So for simplification, both value we can count as equal, and so the difference of this gamma C minus gamma will be 0. So we can neglect this term gamma C minus gamma into dc. Are you getting my point? Okay. So directly we can write Qn is equal to Q by A. So by writing this equation, Qn is equal to Q by A, there is two assumption. First one, we have neglected the cross section of column, okay, and second one, we have neglected we have taken the assumption like unit weight of concrete and unit weight of soil is equal. So Qn, whatever the net footing pressure coming at the base of foundation, it should be less than or equal to Qna, where Qna is a net allowable bearing pressure. Net allowable bearing pressure, Qna. And what is the net allowable bearing pressure? It is the value that we design for foundation. Okay, so it should be less than Qna. So in the place of Qna, we can write Q by A. So in the note, I have mentioned like Q gamma C minus gamma is neglected in this case. The second one, where the foundation is not backfill. Foundation not backfill. In the figure, you can see. So only change is there. There is a TF. there is a basement floor, so the depth of or thickness of basement floor is mentioned in the figure by TF. Rest are same, like DF is the depth of foundation, Q is the load of superstructure or weight of the structure, footing is there, and here concrete layer thickness is DC. So directly we can write gross footing pressure. So that will be equal to Q by A plus DC into gamma C plus TF into gamma C. So now we can calculate net footing pressure by deducting the overburden pressure. So we can write this equation. See, in the case of here, in this expression, DC is the depth of concrete core or concrete layer. TF is the thickness of basement floor. So these two thickness, DC and TF, are very less as compared to depth of foundation. You will see that TF in terms of mm, like 20 or 30 or whatever, but depth of foundation would be in meter, 1.5 meter or something like that. So as compared to depth of foundation, DC and TF will be very less. So we can neglect all these two terms. What are the two terms? DC into gamma C and TF into gamma C. So that two terms will be, we can neglect. So by neglecting these two terms, we can directly we can write QNA is equal to Q by A minus gamma DF. Or this net footing pressure will be also equal to or less than QNA, net allowable bearing pressure. So put the value of QNA in terms of Q by A minus gamma DF. So we can write, so Q by NA less than equal to QNA plus gamma DF. See, you can compare QNA from the first one or from the second one, right? So in the case of second one, you can see that Q is got increased by Q by A is got increased by gamma DF. So the load carrying capacity of a foundation is increased if it is not backfilled. So you can compare the both two things when the foundation is backfilled, or in the second one when the foundation is not backfilled. So in the case of no foundation, when the foundation is not backfilled, you can see that load carrying capacity got increased. The next topic is Rankine analysis. So Rankine analysis is, we can say this is the approximate analysis to get the depth of foundation, or to get the bearing capacity, or to get the ultimate bearing capacity of a soil, right? So Rankine in 1885 considered the plastic equilibrium of two adjacent soil element that is mentioned in the figure. The first one is immediately beneath the footing, and the other one, that is second one, just beyond the edge of the footing. The first one immediately beneath the footing, and the second one just beyond the edge of the footing. So I told you, whenever you are talking in the terms of Mohr circle, or in the terms of like perpendicular stresses or principal stresses, so those stresses which have a higher value, or which has a larger value, that will be a major principal stress, and the second one will be minor principal stress, major principal stress and minor principal stress. So in this case of element 1, see, so whatever the stress beneath the foundation would be vertically downward, so would be larger value. So the vertical downward, that will be sigma 1, that would be major principal stress. But second one, so obviously second one will be minor principal stress. So here we have denoted sigma 3 and sigma 1. But for the case of second element, that is not immediately beneath the this foundation, that is so what will happen? So the other one, the second element is just beyond the edge of the footing. So beyond the edge of footing, it means like whatever the stress is coming in the case of first element is not coming the same in the case of second element. So there, whatever the pressure that is coming by the overburden pressure, that will be obviously less than with respect to horizontal one, like whatever the stress due to coming on the element 1 in the horizontal direction. So in the for the case of second element, the vertical downward stress will be a minor principal stress and the horizontal one would be a major principal stress. So these two things are very, very important. So see, we can write this equation from the Mohr-Coulomb theory, where the sigma 1, sigma 3 and these two are in the terms of effective stress. C dash is the quotient intercept, phi dash is the angle of internal friction. So suppose there is assumption in the case of Rankine analysis. Suppose this is the cohesion-less soil, C is 0. So it will become a, so by putting the value of C dash is equal to 0, we can get this equation, second equation. So obviously we can write, suppose sigma 1 we have write in terms of sigma 3, but we can write sigma 3 in terms of sigma 1, so it will become a sigma 1 dash 10 square 45 minus 5 by 2 minus, you can try also, we'll get this result. So for element 1, the vertical downward stress is, that is a major principal stress, means vertical in a whatever stress acting in a vertical direction, that would be a major principal stress, because that would be a higher value. So we can write sigma 1, that is QU. Sigma 1 Q. Q is what? Q is the you can see the bearing pressure, ultimate bearing capacity at the base of foundation. So obviously in the vertical direction, sigma 1 would be equal to QU. For sigma 3, we can calculate by using the above equation. So sigma 3 we can write is equal to sigma 1. In the place of sigma 1, we can write QU. 10 square 45 minus 5 by 2. For element 2, sigma 3, whatever the sigma 3 is due to the overburden pressure. Sigma 3 is due to the overburden pressure. So we can write gamma dF. From the above equation, we can write sigma 1. Sigma 1 will be in terms of sigma 3. Or we can put the value of sigma 3, gamma dF. So see, in the two elements like 1 and 2, what is the common? So there is a common thing, say whatever, like horizontal stress, because element 1 and 2 are very adjacent, okay. So it means, so sigma 3 in the case of first element will be equal to sigma 1 in the case of second element, because both are equal. Whatever the cell pressure for the element 1 and whatever the cell pressure for the element 2, both are equal. So sigma 3 in case of first element will be equal to sigma 1 in the case of second element. So we can equate. So this 10 square 45 minus 5 by 2 QU is the sigma 3 in the case of first element on gamma dF 10 square 45 minus 5 by 2. That is the sigma 1 in the case of second element. So both we can equate because both are equal. So we can calculate QU is equal to gamma dF 10 to the power 4 45 degree minus 5 by 2. Then by putting the value of, by simplifying, we can write like this: gamma dF 10 to the power 4 45 degree plus 5 by 2. Or simply or by simplifying we can write also in terms of sin phi QU equal to gamma dF 1 plus sin phi dash divided by 1 minus sin phi to the whole square, and then we can get ultimate bearing capacity. But see, by deriving this equation, we have taken 2-3 assumptions. The first assumption was the soil is cohesionless soil means C is 0. Okay, and the second is when we will put the value of df is equal to 0, then ultimate bearing capacity is 0. That cannot be right. That is not right. So there is a two drawback of this Rankine analysis. First is Rankine need not consider C of the soil, means cohesion of the soil. And this theory gives the bearing capacity of the soil as 0 if df is equal to 0. See, df is 0 means we are on the soft surface, we are on the ground surface. Okay, so on the ground surface, Rankine says on the ground surface bearing capacity, ultimate bearing capacity of soil is 0. That is not right. Suppose bearing capacity of soil is 0, so we cannot walk on that. But we are able to walk on ground surface. Means there is some value. There is some value of ultimate bearing capacity of soil. So by putting the value of df, you ultimate bearing capacity is 0 in the case of Rankine analysis. But it is not right. So there are few drawbacks of Rankine analysis. Okay, so that's why Terzaghi theory came so there are so many advantages of Terzaghi theory that I will discuss in the next lecture. So by using this equation, if you will write in df in terms of qu, so we can write df is equal to q by gamma, qu or q by gamma minus 1 minus sin phi divided 1 plus sin phi to the whole square, and then we can so df minimum is minimum depth we can calculate by using this relation. Like, what is the meaning of this minimum depth? So by using this equation you can get some idea like what depth we can select and what are the depth, so we can get some idea like approximation. So Rankine analysis does not give the accurate value. By using this analysis we got some approximation. Okay, so these two formula is important. QU, ultimate bearing capacity in terms of df, or minimum depth of foundation in terms of bearing capacity of a soil, or gamma. If you have some idea about the bearing capacity of soil and phi, then you can calculate that what depth of foundation would be. Right, you can get some idea. These are the reference that I have taken. Thank you. Next lecture I will discuss the Terzaghi theory, and I will discuss some of the gate problem, and I will discuss also some of the engineering services examination problems. So that I will discuss in the next lecture. Okay, thank you.